idea of what police enforcement would be so different because it wouldn't exist. It would be accountability.
It'd be a world where more surgical methods are used regarding how violent criminals are apprehended, and the rest of the community doesn't have to suffer. A world where police officers are truly encouraged to engage with the community in a positive way.
I think it's really important for people to talk. You have someone that you can talk to. You don't do something silly. Edwin, why did you decide to become a police officer?
Because I personally didn't like the way that officers dealt with me and my friends. Although we were in a high crime area, we were not criminals. I said, you know what? I got to understand, why is it that they see me as a criminal, and what it is that I can do to probably help change the system.
I think that's dope, because to want to join something that has caused you pain to prevent others from going through that, like believing that.
A lot of my friends and colleagues, they said, you're crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy if you think you can change this thing. Too much money is made from this. I said, well, slavery made money too, and that changed.
I think about like Black officers specifically right now, because I don't think like thinking about Black Lives Matter excludes Black folks in blue uniforms. You know what I mean? So what's it like to be on the inside of that?
A lot of people have a little tough time accepting me, because they're like, even there was this young lady who was actually, we had some interest in dating, and she's so radical. She's like, she said it's hard for her to explain me to her people because they don't accept it. They're like, bullshit, you really think he's a cop? And she's trying, and it got to a point where she was like, I can't do this. It was like pulling, because that's how much sometimes people can't accept the fact that you can be conscious and a police officer.
I'm an activist and an artist, and so I always get looked at as an idealist in a bad way. But I feel like that's really, I think that's where we have something in common.
You never know how close you can get to idealism until you aim in that direction.
So that's a good point too. Like just thinking about like the culture and like I don't think a lot of people think about the cultures within the police.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
that's big.
I always think about things internally. Like what's it like to be a Black officer in the police force that is aware of his Blackness?
As an officer, because it's written so nobly. Like if you see the way
it's ridiculous.
Policing is written and what we're supposed to be doing out there. But you see, this helped me because in that sense, I'm not truly rebellious because I'm just doing what's written.
Exactly.
The thing is that it's only white folks get that treatment, whereas Black folks get something completely different, the de facto policies.
As an academic, someone who's just like always in school and stuff like that, thinking about like engaging the text. So that's the same thing, and realizing like what is actually being said in these words and having a thoughtful response to it and realizing like, I don't have to meet this with resistance. I'm just actually responding to it.
That's it.
And then like navigating the rebuttal that comes with you actually engaging a text.
Exactly. You got it. Wow, that's good. A lot of people can't connect those dots. So that's kind of been my angle in trying to bring reform. Just basically saying, we want those same rights also. I mean, it's sad, but this is nothing that our ancestors haven't been saying since Marcus Garvey, if not before Frederick Douglass.
For me, as a Black man, like the police fuck with me too, you know. And then as a gay man, and if I'm pumping around Bed-Stuy or if I'm in a village, like I'm aware, I can feel those feelings and stuff, and it's tough when it's in certain spaces and feeling unsafe. So I mean, it's one thing to also now imagine thinking about how police officers also feel unsafe.
Wow, yeah, you got it, man. I mean, I have to just apologize to you for those experiences, because when I put on the uniform, I inherit all of that history, and sometimes it hurts when people just say, hey, I'm an Uncle Tom, or meanwhile, I could quote Garvey, and I'm Uncle Tom. Can you imagine the irony? When they see you in the uniform, they figured you're a sellout, you're just like them, and they didn't even give me the chance. So meanwhile, I'm here risking it all for them. So I apologize that you had to go through that. But I'm here.
First of all, I don't even know if this is a real conversation right now. I'm like gagging. I'm like, WTF. And I accept your apology too. That means a lot. It has such an impact on me. And it's like, this is a full circle because it's just really healing. And like how I feel like it's possible. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I know y'all exist. And like now it's having access. I live in Bed-Stuy, and I live in a neighborhood that's heavily policed, and there's no room for conversation.
Yeah.
You know, even though they are standing in our way to our buildings and our neighborhoods, um, there's just no human
I mean,
connection
the thing
there.
is, there's no incentive to getting to know you on a human level. There's
Mhm.
nothing encourages that.
It's crazy,
And until there's a paradigm shift away from that, we're gonna have issues.
and that's so crazy.
Like a couple years ago, Kingston Avenue on the 3 line, I was patrolling, and it was this young lady sitting on the bench, and she was crying,
Yeah,
and she stood up from the bench and just latched onto me.
of course.
And yeah, I didn't expect that, but it's okay. If that's what you need right now, I'll be there for you, just on a human level. And she told me she was in a custody battle with her child's father, and she was about to lose her kids, and she felt like she was an unfit mom, and it was just really
Mm.
affecting her. And I told her, well, as someone who grew up without a mom, just to see you this hurt by this possibility, I can tell you are indeed a loving mom.
Mm.
So don't feel that you're unfit. And I didn't think anything of it. I just hoped that she was okay. A few months later, I saw her walking with a little girl and a daughter. And I saw her, and she gave me a hug, and she said, officer, I was going to jump that day.
Wow.
And I said, excuse me? She said, yeah, I was going to jump in front of the train that day. And then that conversation did it, and I was like, oh shit. And hear this though. She had her bag next to her on the bench. And one of the things that we lock people up for is occupying more than one seat.
Lock people up.
Lock people up, occupying more than one seat.
See, we need to hear this. We don't.
But here's the thing, unfortunately, if I only went by what the job incentivized, I'd be asking her for ID to write her summons or even lock her up for having her bag next to her.
As much as like I know my inner workings and know how much of a chill person I am, I'm still a big black man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
oh
So
yeah,
I'm gonna get
those
handled,
perceptions, yeah.
and it hurts more than it's offensive. It just hurts. Like when police like yell at me. I'm like, if you know me, you know you don't have to yell at me.
It's something I wouldn't have known had I not become a police officer myself. A lot of times officers feel like shit for having to write those nonsense summonses. So in a way of rationalizing, they come at you aggressively
Yeah.
because they need you to be aggressive back. They need something psychologically to write you off as someone who deserves this summons. I have a lot of officers' friends who are white who never really been to the 5 boroughs. They're from Long Island, upstate,
Mhm.
and they cannot believe the things that are policed here, the things that they're being asked to enforce. They're like, what? I do this all the time in Nassau. This is crazy. This is
Mhm.
what, it's like, yeah, I couldn't live in the city. I don't know how you do it. I was born here. And even though I could afford to leave now, I got to change this, man. I got to fix this. It's like, kill the seed, don't let it sprout.
Yeah, I mean, all these GMOs, as my friend was saying to me yesterday, all these folks living this GMO life and got no real
Exactly.
seeds. They don't have life in
Exactly.
them, and like, but they're doing these things that
I'm
affect
gonna take
people's
that. I'm gonna
lives.
use that.
Well, I'm borrowing it from her,
Yeah,
so
just let her know.
Ashe.
Peace.